Hello, people. Welcome to the stream. I'm Rad, for those who doesn't know me. I'm a tarot card interpreter, and tonight's live stream is going to be all about the ingression, the transit, Mercury that enters into Aquarius. It's the transit itself. It's a so-so time, and I'm gonna tell you why. The astrology of it is fed to me by Pisces Moonbeam. If you do want to contact her, you will find her contact into the description down below. Other than that, if you do like the tarot part and you do want to have a personal reading with me, you can always go to my website, which link you're gonna find in the description down below as well. And if you do enjoy the content here on the channel, don't shy to give us a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends as well if you think that they are going to like it as well. Thank you, Mattia. Yeah, it was about time. That with the haircut. I went to the haircut salon, you know, to the hairstylist. And I said to them, you know, I just want a couple of fingers shortened. And she took out my hair and she showed me that it needed like a fistful, you know, shortening. So I said, well, who am I to argue with you, right? I mean, you are the hairdresser at the end of the day, so take it all down. Thank you, Artemis. Right, so Mercury in Aquarius. It has a few aspects. I mean a couple of aspects that are in play there. But those aspects are a little bit in a conflict with one another. So as the Mercury enters into Aquarius, actually the real hero, at least for that day and for the next couple of hours after the transit, which by the way happens at 11th of February, which is for you guys in the United States tomorrow at 6:23 a.m. at the morning. So that is as you wake up, all right? And as it happens, like I said, the moon is going to be the real hero, at least at that time. And first, it almost perfectly trines Saturn. And the moon, by the way, is in Libra, and Saturn is going to be in Aquarius as well. And what this is going to do as we do wake up is that it's going to give us an impulse to do things according to our code of conduct, right? To strive for more balanced and grounded day-to-day routine, at least for that particular day, and the tasks we do have to handle, and the enterprises, so to speak, the responsibilities, the events that we do have scheduled for the day. And that is going to be the intent, at least at the start, which is a great intent. The problem, though, is to be that few hours after, the moon is going to square Pluto, which is in Capricorn. And that poses kind of a conflict in between the emotions and the subconsciousness. So that kind of like doesn't speak much said that way. But let me give you an example. Now imagine that day you do have to meet someone that you don't know up until this point. For example, your a friend of yours want to set you up with a friend of theirs, right? That friend of yours thinks that you are gonna hang alone very well, right? They think that you'll match up quite well. And your friend meets you together, and it's kind of like you can't say why, but that person annoys you. You just don't like their presence. It's just it repulses you, but you cannot say exactly why that's the case. And that is the conflict in between the subconscious and thy emotions, our emotions at that particular point. And this, as you can imagine, is gonna causes a severe issues with we wanting to do things according to our code of conduct, because at the end of the day, again, there will be aspects that we want to do them in a certain way, but we can't say why that annoys us and that aggravates us, and it's just is going to be a tough time, if you will. It's going to be a time where we will come up to a conclusion that we have to transform certain things, that kind of like what we had imagined, so to speak. It's not exactly the way that it should be done, and that's up until this point we thought it wrong, and these kind of stuff. So it's if you will, it's a day of rethinking, you know, certain aspects into our situations. And as well, what was I about to say? Reaching the root, okay? Reaching the root of why we do not feel very well with one thing or another, which is going to have nothing to do with the aspect or with the situation that we are currently involved into. Again, let's get back to the example with the setup of a date, right? So that person annoys you, and the problem is not within them. The core of the matter is going to be that, for example, a friend of yours that is reminiscent to them had annoyed you back in the days, right? Or you had a date with a similar person and didn't end up well, and these kind of stuff. So it's not going to be the individual itself. Yeah, well, that is what I am trying to say with kind of like examples. Thank you, Pisces Moonbeam. Thank you. So this is the conflict in between these two aspects, and like Pisces Moonbeam said, it's not going to be easy on us, right? Now, Mercury going into Aquarius actually is going to open up our mind, not just only ours, but to everyone. Bottom line here is that when Mercury goes in Aquarius, it starts taking up speed. It starts considering new things that haven't considered up until this moment, as Aquarius is ruled by Uranus or Uranus. That kind of like brings new perspective, and it allows us to kind of like absorb and consider, right, information, conversations, learnings, and these kind of stuff. Now, when she told me about that, I thought, well, if up until this point, you know, someone doesn't want to talk to you about a particular topic, let's say your spouse doesn't want to even hear about you both getting married or you having another child, well, maybe Aquarius, Mercury going into Aquarius is going to put that topic again on the table. Now, that doesn't mean that it will be a confirmation, all right? That doesn't mean that you're going to receive a big yes, but at least the topic is going to be opened up again. And in generally, Mercury in Aquarius should allow us to approach subjects, right? Approach topics from a different angle and from a different perspective, because the Uranus, it's also giving us the enlightenment, so to speak, in that particular regard, like, you know, the insight, the aha moment that's in the cartoons, that bulb that lights up in the mind of the antagonist or the protagonist, if you will. And so we are going to figure out stuff, we're going to figure out things. That is basically how the Mercury represents itself into Aquarius. And while this conjunction there in between Pluto and Mercury is separating conjunction, we still are going to feel it into that particular day, 11th of February. And this is that's new innovative ways, yeah, of thinking, and you said it very well, yeah, getting outside of the box itself when it comes to ideas. But Mercury that squares, not squares, but conjuncts Pluto this is a separating aspect of that particular point, and that is the make or break kind of thing, right? When it comes to especially relationships, and it's either gonna find a way that relationship on a communicative level to go forward, especially those relationships which just we don't have anything to talk about anymore, whether we're gonna at that particular moment find something to talk about, or it just is gonna come up to the conclusion that, you know, we just don't stand together very well, and so on and so forth. But Mercury, not Mercury, but Pluto is not the end, all right? At least not for us, because Pluto, it's about transformation, and transformation is about replacement. So even if something ends, and when I say a relationship, that doesn't have to be an intimate one, all right? It could be friendship or a business relationship. Should it end under this conjunction, another one is going to replace it very, very soon after. And the final aspect, which is not yet formed, but it is about to, that is the conjunction in between Venus and Neptune that is going to happen into Pisces. That is about pleasure, right? So the time is approaching where we are going to have pleasure from one thing or another. And as we talked with Pisces Moonbeam, the only problem comes when pleasure gives you something you cannot have at that particular time. And we gave a real example with that thing, if you remember Pisces Moonbeam. But hopefully this is not gonna how it's gonna play out for all of us, and we are gonna have a really, really pleasant time few days from now as Venus, or several days from now as Venus now starts conjuncting Neptune into the sign of Pisces. Very possible is that, you know, we are gonna fall in love with someone if we aren't in love right now, and these kind of things. Yeah, the transformation doesn't have to be just only make or break. It's make or break the subject, but if you do find another subject, you know, to carry on forward with, that doesn't have to break the relationship, but it could break also the relationship as per your say. So that is as far as it goes, or as far as I understood it, in term of astrology. Mattia, it's gonna be hard for a few hours, the very least. Okay, after that, it's just it will go the uphill route from there on moving forward. Oh, hello, Wolf Kiss, Wolf Class. I don't know why I'm saying Wolf Class. Yeah, I know, but it still could happen under the Neptune, I believe. We talked about it. That with the Uranus, it's meant to be. While with Neptune, it's unlikely, but who knows? It could happen. The yummy feels, yeah. Well, uh, all right, Mattia, thank you so much for your 1999 super chat, and Jasmine as well. Thank you. Thank you, guys. At the end of the stream, you're gonna have your personal reading for what Mercury is gonna bring. Is gonna bring you. Is gonna bring to you. Mercury in Aquarius. So you never know, yeah. But I don't know, when you told me about this conjunction Pisces Moonbeam, I kind of like felt it like this is going to be the how do you call it? Oh yeah, it's kind of like you may be quite, or a person could be quite prominent to fall in love with stuff, not just only with another individual, but in general to fall in love with stuff. You try a new cake at the at the shop and you just fall in love with that cake and you just can't have enough of it, right? Or you try a new video game and you fall in love with that video game. So remember, be careful, guys. I mean, you may get attached, too much attached to something, at least as per my understanding of the transit. You may got attached to something quite intensely under the energy of Neptune with Venus. All right, so let's get to the tarot interpretation here. Those are the three cards. As per the thumbnail, the first one, that will be the Page of Pentacles. The second card, that will be the Knight of Swords, and that is the conflict here that we do have in between the Moon and Pluto. And the next one, that will be the King of Wands. So, as Mercury enters into Aquarius here, it seems that a subject is going to open up, and that comes from these two cards, right? A subject is going to open up that what we are planning to do and the way we want to chase our future. So basically the devotion we do have for the future, whether this is a work project or some kind of a relationship project, or in generally the work and the relationship, is misaligned with our emotions. So basically the steps we want to take, logically observed, does not align with what we want to do at that particular moment. And for that reason, there could be conscious change of plans, and that aligns, I think, very well with the open-mindedness of Mercury into Aquarius, where we just have an idea which happens to be outside of the box itself, and that alone is going to change a couple of things here. This comes from the other two cards, right? From these two cards. That's according to tarot. So first of all, it's going to change how we looked at the ambition we do have. That could be ambition that regards to our job, or ambition that regards to our relationship, but the intentions to set a drive chasing on that ambition could loosen up a little bit for the sake of not doing things that we don't want to do moving forward, and it could redirect toward a different routes, toward a different angles. But alas, right, the devotion and the ambition itself stays. It is just the process of how we are going to get there. So the process how we are going to get there, it could change a few times in a few ways, right? But we are still going to get there for the time being. The second thing that is going to change is how we look at our personal time as well. That is very strong in between these two cards, right? And it will come up to the conclusion of ours that probably we are either not spending our personal time, the time that we do have for ourselves, the most efficient way, the way that it pleases us most, the way that we feel most recuperated, the way that we do not regret it afterwards. And also it could bring up to conclusion that we do not spare as much time as we should for ourselves, and instead, for example, we are giving it to others, or we are giving it to some kind of a activities that are completely unnecessary, completely unneeded, and it is just eating up the time that we can have personally for us to enjoy ourselves with one thing or another. So in other words, wasting it. Okay, so in other words, wasting it. And this will bring to more pleasantries. It's going to bring to more exciting and fulfilling enterprises and endeavors for the duration of Mercury in Aquarius itself. And that is one advice here from the cards, guys. If you do like a friend of yours, you know, you have a feelings for a friend of yours, but your friend doesn't know about those feelings, this period is, according at least to these cards, to be believed. Okay, these two, this transit, it's not a good time for you to share those emotions with them. It is just whether they are not gonna like that this is happening at that given time, or they're not gonna like the way that it is presented. Either way, there will be it's more likely to break the friendship rather than to establish a relationship. You may want to wait for a more, how can I put it into words, favorable aspect to take place, like Pisces Moonbeam said, Venus conjuncting Juno. That is going to happen in about 3 or 4 months, I believe. How much time until that happened, Pisces Moonbeam? Can you say? Because right now Venus is in Pisces. Juno, it's in Aries, right? Juno is in Aries, so it should be soon. All right, so that was the collective for Mercury in Aquarius. And now, a few notes about the show before I move to the 12. It's maybe a week. Two or 3 weeks. Well, yeah, well, but then it's worth you waiting 2 or 3 weeks before. And it, oh my God, is it going to sextile Mercury? No, it's not, I believe. All right, a few notes about the show before I move to the 12 star signs. As said, within the live stream, there are going to be 12 readings, one for each star sign, starting up from Aries, and I'm going to end up with Pisces. But also, there will be 3 free readings giveaways that are going to take place as well. One is going to take place after Cancer, another one after Scorpio, and the final one after Pisces. All that you gotta do in order to contest the free reading is just to stay up until that point when I do announce a break for the free reading. Ask a question into the comments down below, and I usually give 5 minutes questions to accumulate, and then Pisces Moonbeam is picking one of the questions which I'm going to perform a professional reading on that question. Other than that, if you do decide to support the stream and the channel through Super Chat, you're going to have your reading at the end of the stream. That's pretty much guaranteed. And if you do want to have a personal reading with me, you can always go to my website, which link you're going to find in the description down below. And there at the very front page, you're going to see a full list of my services and also their pricing. Yeah, I doubt it as well. I got excited for a second and I said, wait, Mercury moves faster than Venus, so no, there will be no sextile. All right, starting up now, Aries. Eight of Pentacles first. Then he's going to be the Queen of Wands. And the third card for you, Aries, that will be the Knight of Wands. So, from tomorrow moving forward, those are the three cards. From tomorrow moving forward, you guys are gonna start having that feeling. It's like something isn't quite right, and that feeling comes from the elemental dignity in between the Eight of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands, and it will affect ongoing plans. It is like something isn't quite right, something isn't attended properly, like a mistake is into a made right now and you cannot really see where that mistake is. Long story short, you're going to have that feeling that there are details at work or at the work that have not been attended, and even more so that are unobserved, that are unrevealed up until this point. So you will have the feeling that there is a problem and you don't know where that particular problem is. Now, this is just only feeling. It doesn't have to be a problem right there and right then. And even if it happens to be that way, because of the elemental dignity itself, it should not be something irreparable. It should not be something that is going to sway, say, your boat too much. So even if there is a crisis to be ensued, you will be able to handle it in a acceptable margin of time, so you don't have to change your plans, so you don't have to change your preparations as well. The other elemental dignity that we do have for you here, which is the Eight of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. It concerns more about finding a different approach to share your vision, to display your agenda or your ideas, talking with people, and so on and so forth. And although as Mercury enters into Aquarius, you may see different ways how you can approach your boss or your spouse, your children. Because of the elemental dignity itself, it's unlikely that you will consider them above the one that you are currently considering moving forward with. That is because they all are gonna have their pros and cons, so to speak, and they all have the potential to work. But the current one you have prepared for, current one you have planned, so that you will see no reason why you should change it. And on a tangible level here, on a more materially aspected interpretation of those cards, As Mercury enters into Aquarius, you are to see that now you can start initiating one thing or another. A plan for a business can be initiated, a plan for a relationship, a plan for a wedding, a plan for buying a home, some kind of plans that you do have that need a time. Well, that time is now nigh, and you will be able to start establishing that idea. It's gonna take on time, and a few things are going to be obscured. Once again, it's like, you know, there will be the clear goal. It is just how you're going to get there is not going to be exactly clear. You ain't going to be able to say what is more important than other, at least at the start, but you will have not all the time in the world, but all the skill in the world to attend to everything flawlessly. So although a little bit more chaotic, this transit should be quite successful for you, Aries. All right, so moving on, next we do have Taurus. Hello, Sean. Taurus, Sun, or the Sun is the first one. Afterwards, we do have the Six of Pentacles. And the final one, that's going to be the Three of Swords. So this is how the Elements of Dignity stands. And for Taurus, these cards stands more for that as Mercury enters into Aquarius, you will find yourself being more open to share, let's say, good fortune with other people. Or in other words, you will be more open to accept more people into your life, whether as friends, common owners, business partners, colleagues, you know, why not intimate relationship as well. If you had set certain boundaries in between you and somebody, you may find no reason as Mercury enters into Aquarius to keep up those boundaries up anymore. That is from these two cards here, which is the Sun and the Three of Swords, and that is the recipe of forgiveness, right? And above that, forgiving someone else, forgiving yourself, and forgiving a person or a situation from your past. Those two cards are very common when a wounded heart is healed. Just to give you an example, a person who went through a tough breakup and I don't want to hear about intimacy anymore, right? So disappointed from the love life that universe presented. And those two cards are the healing, where their heart is whole again, and now they are ready to kind of like forgive the situation they went through and open up for the world to kind of like share their good fortune with others and share their happiness as well, and invite others to be a part of that happiness, because that's just how the Sun works. It works through the shared happiness. You make me happy, therefore I make you happy. That is how the Sun pretty much works. Other than that, Taurus, the upcoming transit should bring you an expanding energies of growth, right? And also a very natural development, meaning that how can I put it into words? You will develop, or you will progress into those fields that you do have a talent into. So here, if you are trying to go against the current, things are not going to work out for you. But if you go with the current, then everything should move and go forward painlessly. So if something gives you a hard time and doesn't want to work out for you, maybe it will be best if you do leave it aside until Mercury makes another aspect, or it exits Aquarius altogether. Okay, very not prominent, but it's very common when we do have those cards, arguments to be severed, for the lack of a better word. In other words, to make up with a rival of yours, or with a person that you are in a fight with. Just for example, you haven't talked with your mother for ages because you are fighting about one thing or another. Well, now you can bury down the hatchets and become family one more time, or once again, so to speak. Right, that was Taurus. Moving on, next we do have Gemini. Three of Pentacles. With the Hermit. With the Four of Wands. Right, so that is how the elemental dignity stands here for you, Gemini. And it's all about addressing the future for you. As Mercury enters into Aquarius, you are to address or pay attention to, for a lack of a better word, only to the people that matter. For example, up until this point, if you have paid attention to everyone and you are giving a shred of your time to everyone who wants it, as Mercury enters into Aquarius, you are going to stop doing that. Because from that moment, or from that point moving forward, it's not like you won't care what people think of you, but it is more like that you will care to have a fruitful cooperations and discussions, rather than a cheap talks, you know, and just killing time. And as you do address only the people that matter in your life, that's addressation, for a lack of a better word, is going to concern the future. How big of a use you can be together, what can come out of it, how substantial and important is going to be, and above everything else, is that cooperation leading anywhere? And if so, what is missing? Because there is something missing here, or there is something that it is not quite perfect in between you and those people, or in between you and that person. That can be seen in between these two cards, the Three of Pentacles and the Four of Wands. There is an important detail that you both grasp on, but you are not quite done with shaping it and with addressing it, with sorting it out, at least not for now. Because what requires is that you both need to work together over it, rather than everyone to enforce their own view on the subject itself. Bottom line here for you, Gemini, is that now probably is going to be decided. Can you move on into the direction you both want together as a group or as a couple, or not? And if not, how can you salvage that relationship to a certain point? Can you stay friends? Can you stay just common owners? or are you gonna separate? All right, next we do have Cancer. What I forgot to mention, it is that unlike many other situations that probably addressed similar situation for you, Gemini, in the near future, this time around those cards are showing an energy that is gonna force the party you to be wise about it, right? To approach the subject instead of emotionally or even maybe selfishly, to approach it wisely and intelligently this time around, which will give you way more clarity and how can I put it into words, way more arguments and ground, so to speak, when it comes to rendering a verdict. Yes, I want to move forward or not. To kind of like stand on. All right, Cancer. The Death is for you. Followed by the Three of Wands. And the final one, that's going to be the Five of Wands. Not a very good news for you, Cancer. So that Mercury into Aquarius definitely is gonna ravage certain establishments of yours. That is the bad news, right? That is why it is not a good news. It's just things you are accustomed to. It's no longer going to be, let's say, available. Or they may be available, but they are going to be in a conflict with your progress. The quick example, which is very common, it is when you do have a friend, but that friend, it's making your relationship deteriorating. It's just your spouse doesn't want you to be with that friend because that friend makes you drink, drug, be a, I don't know how you call it in English, a person that is doing stupid things like burglaries and these kind of stuff, a thug, makes you be a thug. So that is just for example. So this these sources that you are accustomed to, it seems that like I said, no longer available, and they will have to be replaced with different sources here, which you are going to have an access to into the upcoming few days. So bottom line here for you, Cancer, is that because the transit is not yet in place, you have certain plans right now for your near future, for the next week probably, or for the next couple of weeks. Well, maybe you want to reconsider having those plans strict, because according to these parts, something is going to give way, something going to have to go, because it will be just incompatible with your future moving forward. And at least at the start, like I said, you ain't gonna like it. You ain't gonna like that you have to give up on a one thing or another, like smoking or a diet or whatever the case, right? But ultimately it's gonna be for your own good. So suffice to say here is, at least at the start of the transit, there will be expectations of yours that they're just not gonna happen to be true. They're just not gonna happen to be possible. And that is gonna cause the feeling that you are not as far as you thought you are. But that is just a feeling. Right, so that was the first 4 star signs. Now the first break takes place, where you can have a free reading with me. That is going to happen here live, right, on the live stream. And in order to claim a free reading, you just have to input a question into the comments down below that you want me to read for with my tarot cards. I will give you 5 minutes to do so, and after 5 minutes, Pisces Moonbeam is going to pick one question if there are any. If not, I'm just going to move on to the next 4 star signs. There are going to be 2 more free readings. One is going to be after Scorpio. The last one is going to be after Pisces. And then the super chat readings are going to take place. So if you do support the stream and the channel through super chat, you are going to have your reading at the end of the stream. That's pretty much guaranteed. And should your super chat be $20 or above, the reading is going to be that very same format I'm doing for the star signs themselves. And if you do want to have a personal reading with me, you can always go to my website, which link you're going to find in the description down below. But this Pisces Moonbeam, this addiction thing, it's very scary to me. Okay, this pleasure addiction thing is very scary to me, because when I like something, you know how I live. When I like something, I don't consider is it good or bad. It's just I do things which I like unless they're in a contradictory to the law, right? So I don't mess around with the law. That is the only thing that can tell me what I am to do, right? The law. And it's just, I can feel it. I'm gonna get hooked to something. Hopefully it is to something like a video game or a beverage or something like that. Hopefully I'm not gonna get hooked to a person, because then these things never end well for me. Being hooked to a person never end well for me. Oh, what are you munching then? Sean. I had a falafels for a dinner. I like falafels. I'm about to go to my parents soon, and you wish. I know that that's your. How can I put it into words? In your prayers, right? I know that that's in your prayers. What is falafel? Falafel is it's an Eastern thing. It's not a meal. They are rings like that. I don't know what they are made of, but they are feeling you full, right? They are feeling you full, and they're not with meat. They have something like, I don't know what they are made of, but they are rather tasty. The only problem with them is that they're a little bit dry. They're a little bit dry, and you just have to have some kind of a beverage or a lot of sauce with them. But they are very tasty. Or maybe, Pisces Moonbeam, I'm gonna fall in love with my problems, and at that point they are about to leave me too. Yeah, that's a good one. Hopefully that's this is going to be falling in love with our problems. Like if you are with someone, you don't seek anyone else. That's what you mean monogamy, right? Chicken balls? It doesn't taste like chicken. Yeah, it's a Middle Eastern dish. Chickpea balls. Yeah, no meat. This is the only thing I believe in. Okay, this is the only thing I believe in. And when I do have a girlfriend, in those rare occasions, I just don't see other women. You know, they. Well, that's quite of a claim. All right, we do have only one question here, and it does regards Shakti's sister. These are actually two questions. So which one do you want to know about? Her standing on the job or keeping the apartment? Because one has nothing to do, well, it has what to do with the other, but one doesn't have to be true, so the other can be true. I don't know what chickpeas is, but all right, I'm gonna take you for your word. Oh, I'm doing what I want that affects me, all right? Affects me. But I am not going to do something behind someone else's back. Even if it happens, you know, that I am with a woman and I fall in love with another woman, I'm just gonna stand to the one that I'm with at that given time, and I'm gonna say, you know what, just it's not gonna work out because I love or like another, and that's how it's gonna end. Keeping the apartment, all right. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay, I ate that in a Japanese restaurant or something. Uh, but it was spicy. I hate spicy food. I hate spicy food. Nasty vegetables. What do you mean nasty vegetables? If we do have vegans here, they're gonna kill you, you know that. For what you are saying. Those are the cards, Shakti. No, I don't think that she's gonna keep the apartment, because by the middle of the summer, there will be a different place that she can be at that will be better. So no, I don't think that she's gonna keep the apartment for one or another reason. but it's going to be her own choice. Okay, it's going to be her own choice. It's not like she will have to be evicted or something. I'm not a fan of vegetables either, but sometimes I do eat a salad. But just sometimes. I'm not a fan of soaps. For a couple of minutes and then the next 4 star signs. That's great, Mattia. I don't eat sweet. So that is something that I cannot be bribed with. The chocolates, layer cake, or any kind of cake. Calais? What is Calais? Let me check that one out. I do not handle foods very well when it comes to English. Hold on a second. Yeah, I like that one. I like Calais. Kyle? All right. All right, so yeah, I like Kyle. Not the person Kyle, right? I like the vegetable Kyle. Gale. Kale. All right. Yeah, it is. It is very different. For example, the sausages here, we do have a two types of sausages. One, you have to kind of like roast it and all these kind of things, and it's quite thick. It's like this, sausage. They're quite thick, but you do have those. They're called sujuk. They're and you have to eat them raw, and they're very tasty. It's and quite expensive as well. All right, Leo now. Everyone who comes over falls in love with the food. I guess the cuisine here it's quite nice. Yeah, I heard of this one. Not at all. Not at all, Sean. Leo, Nine of Wands, first one, followed by the World. And the final one, that's going to be the Six of Swords. So, for you, Leo, as Mercury enters into Aquarius, right? That will be the old snap time and the old snap moment where the last minute changes are kind of going to take place. So you can, for example, be more efficient or straight away get what you want. First is going to for the realization that it is not too late. And that comes from those two cards. Okay. Those two. It's not too late, for example, to save your marriage. It's not too late to fix the problem. It's not too late to approach the client. It's just, it is not too late. And the way that you are going to decide to go about it, it will be quite brilliant for its own sake and according to your standards as well. But it will look quite, well, depending on who you look at, who you looked at it, for some it's going to look quite brave. For others, it's going to look like, how do you call it? A Hail Mary, right? Throwing the Hail Mary. And this is coming from these two cards that we do have, the Nine of Wands and the Six of Swords. So the Nine of Wands and the Six of Swords, it is when you basically have nothing to lose, okay? Or can I put it into words? How things can get in a worse state than that. And the state doesn't have to be worse. It is just, you know, you just, yeah, you don't have anything to lose. You don't care if things are going to work out or not. And so you do the unthinkable up until this point that nobody thought of and nobody dared to undertake. So you make that move and the changes actually takes place, and those changes are to help you, not just only to help you, but also are to make the situation, if not more bearable, straight away successful, right there and right then. So what you can expect here for Mercury in Aquarius, it is to realign, readapt, and restructure those situations in your life that you do wish for them to be better and to develop better for you and for everyone around you. And another thing for you, Leo, as Mercury enters into Aquarius, and if you are single, you don't have to be. It's about time for you to reach out. It's not even stepping out, but it's more like a reaching out, and you are to be sought of. You are to be sought after. Not of, but you are to be sought after. And you will have the luxury to choose which and whom you want to go forward with. Well, Tammy, if you are paying your taxes here in Bulgaria, the medical procedures are for free. They're not for free because you're paying your taxes, but you're not paying anything for the medical procedure. For only thing that you will have to pay are, for example, if you do need implants, you have to pay your implants. And you can choose to have a cheap implants or expensive implants. It is up to you. For example, if you break a leg and you need to be you know, to be fixed with an implant, then you will have to pay the implant. But the surgery, the hospital period that you are staying in, and so on and so forth, you don't pay a cent for it. The only thing that's we are paying for, that is the dentist. Well, if you do have a cavity, for example, you do not get anesthesia, right? The only anesthesia you get is if you have to be, is if a tooth needs to be pulled out. All right, Virgo now. First one for Virgo, that will be Judgment. Followed by the Queen of Swords. And then the Seven of Wands. Oh, that's not a medical procedure, Tammy. This is more like a beauty procedure. You gotta pay for that one. Medical procedure is if you do have an illness and they have to fix you. This isn't fixing. This is making you better, looking better. So that is something you have to pay for. Well, Pisces Moonbeam, if the dentists know what they're doing, it's not that bad. Okay. But it's very painful. All right. So for Virgo, Mercury in Aquarius. It's a path that opens here. Okay. It's a path that opens only for you, not for anyone else. So basically what you will see is how to get the things done, the things you want. Right? You want to go somewhere, but there are problems or obstructions that are not allowing you. As Mercury enters into Aquarius, you are going to see how that can be done. I mean, how you can get whatever you want. You want to establish something, same thing. You want to be with someone, same thing, right? Now, the only problem with those two cards, it is that getting the job done or getting the results will require, say, you to be ruthless, right? So it's going to require by some people's standards, unethical approach, but that is only by some people's standards. It's not going to be unlawful by any means, right? It's just some people will find it unethical, but in reality, it's emancipated. So the situation is different from yesterday, and now as the situation is different approach can be established moving forward. And I mean, you will face a bit of an opposition. We can see it from those two cards. In fact, from those two cards here, the Judgment and the Seven of Wands, that is when you do realize who your rivals are. Not just only a competition. We're talking about people that want to see you on your knees and even crawling at some point. And that will allow you, Virgo, to address these individuals, okay? To address even the ways that they're trying to undermine your ground, not your ground, but your foundations, right? So they're trying to undermine your foundations, mainly doing things, talking about you behind your back. And that will allow you to get the upper hand, extinguish their flames, of ambition, so to speak. Another thing about this elemental dignity here, that gives a very, very strong impulse to do the right thing at the right place in the right time. So a huge breakthrough is what it's showing. But like I said, that breakthrough, when the time comes, when you are at the right place and you know what are going to be the right action, is going to be the conflict there with your ethics and with your code of conduct. So are you going to overlook that ethics and the code of conduct, and you are going to choose to have what you can take, or not to have what you belong to you? Because that is what the judgment is all about. What is yours, right? So are you going to have what it takes to take what is yours, or you will submit to the common will, or the cumulative will, the collective will? It's entirely up to you to decide. But if you do submit, according to the cards, you will feel an emptiness. It's like something is missing within you. So you are going to regret it, just so you know. All right, next we do have Libra. Well, Tammy, for an implant, I mean, implants cannot be always made. I mean, if someone wants to take your money, they're gonna put you an implant no matter what. But the thing is that if there is a very small space here in between the mouth and your sinuses, right? And they touch your sinus, well, it's pretty much over, in a sense of that you are never going to be able to breathe through your nose again. Yeah, you're going to have an implant, but very soon after that, infection in your sinuses is going to start. They're going to fill up with a pus, and your nose is done for. Okay, so if you are going to go for an implant, I would use the services of someone, yeah, not very cheap, but I know, but I would know that that's a person who kind of like stands for his, what was the word? His resolve, and also his renown, rather. So stands for his renown rather than stand for the money. And usually those people take a lot, okay, because they are renowned. But they are not going to risk their name for a couple of $1,000s. All right, Libra. Four of Swords, first one. Followed by the Eight of Pentacles. And the final one that is going to be the King of Pentacles. So it's a change of heart here. All right. I'm just saying. Because I have a missing teeth or a missing tooth, right? And I went to the best of the best here in our country, a mouth surgeon. And he looked at the X-ray and said, "You can't have an implant there. It's almost impossible. You can, but I'm not going to be the one putting that implant there, because there is a very big chance to open up the sinus, and if that happens, your nose is done for, right? So I'm not doing it." That is what he said. All right, so those three cards. And like I said, change of heart for you, Libra. So as Mercury enters into Aquarius, all of the investments you do and the tendencies that you have are going to be revisited. For example, you are going to revisit the services that you are paying for. Okay. Hello, Kimberly. You will revisit as well the people that you are spending time with, in a sense of revisiting the time that you are spending with those people. You will revisit as well your plans that you have for the future. You will revisit your preparations that you do have as well for the enterprises you want to initiate. In generally, you will revisit everything that that sustain and consist within your life, or you're gonna start doing it. So in an attempt to stop the leaks, or to plug the leaks, so to speak, and not having a leakage anymore, whether a financial leakage, time leakage, and what was the thing that I'm trying to say? A leakage of skill, like you are selling your skill for less money than you should, or as the Joker in the Batman Black Knight said, if you can't do something, you never do it for free. Okay, God forbid you're doing it for free, right? Anyway, all this is because you will, maybe without even knowing it, but you are going to avoid, for a lack of a better word, so you're going to avoid a lot of issues and a lot of problems that may arise in the future that are going to mainly concern your finances and as well your job, but they could also concern your love life, especially if you are single right now. Okay, because those cards are suggesting that you are kind of like, it's not like striving for the wrong people or for the wrong type of people, but you are definitely not striving for the perfect type of people. Okay, according to the cards, if those cards are to be believed. That's why you have to re-examine not your methods, but moreover your criteria of what kind of what kind of return you are expecting of your investment. And in those situations, you invest time and emotions. So when you do invest that time and emotion, what do you expect in return? And if you do expect, you know, attention, you do expect another emotions as well, but you do see that the person you are chasing is not giving you that, well, then maybe it's for you to stop doing and giving time and emotions to that individual. You know, that needs to be your revisit here. This revisit, this draw of a line, will allow you to kind of like establish a very peaceful existence, at least for the next few weeks, or maybe even the next few months, maybe even in the next few years as well. But suffice to say here, a lot of issues, a lot of problems, and as well a lot of your concerns are going to simply disappear once you do revisit, you know, your investments and as well your tendencies, the aspects that you attend with conscientiousness, and you identify which is worth it and which doesn't, right? And you plug the leak. And also, as Mercury enters into Aquarius, you may decide to stop paying to someone that you do use professional services of. For example, a therapist. You do realize that you are getting nowhere with that person, with that therapist. And that doesn't mean that you're going to stop going to the therapist. That means that you are going to stop going to this therapist, for example. Or a dentist. You know, you got to go to a dentist and you revisit this one and you do realize that they haven't done a good job, so you have to change your dentist or your doctor, you know, or internet provider, and so on and so forth. All right, so that was Libra. Next, we do have Scorpio. The Knight of Cups with Temperance. And this is where, you know, I knew it, man. I mean, I kind of knew it. This is the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it's an addiction. Not as strong as the Devil, for example, but still. So, what happens here in between this elemental dignity, it kind of shows that, you know, we're going to cross a line. And this is what I meant, addiction. Or it may not lead to addiction, but definitely we are going to cross a line that it should not. For example, sleep with a coworker or with a friend, even worse. That is just for example. Or we may cross a line with indulging ourselves with one thing or another. We may cross a line. Well, it's not going to be saying things that we don't have to and that we should not, because the cross of a line is going to be regarding pleasure and a wish. So we do have a friend that we wish to sleep with, and that is just only wish. Up until this point, we know that this is gonna break the friendship, but the pressure of the wish kind of like gives way, and or the boundary, the limitation that we put in front of that wish kind of gives way, and the wish suffuses us all. One evening we say, you know what, screw it. So that is something we need to pay attention to, but definitely there will be a cross of a line here one way or another, and it is concerning, or it is regarding a enterprise, or say a situation, a person, whether that we already have around us. That's why I said a friend. Okay, or maybe a coworker as well, or maybe a friend of a friend. You have a good friend that's introduces you to their boyfriend, let's say, and instant chemistry, and oh my god, right? Hello, Michelle. Do you have your do you had your reading? I sent you your reading yesterday, I believe. So, Scorpio, unfortunately, I don't know what to advise you here, guys, because you know, if the Temperance was the prime card, I would advise you to try to kind of like don't do anything extreme here. But as the Knights of Cups, it is the primary card. It's about a sacrifice. Okay, are you gonna sacrifice your own pleasure for the pleasure of someone else or not? Yeah, Tommy, that could be also the case, but it's about the pleasure in the things that we love, all right? And who doesn't love to have sex? Who doesn't love to be loved, right? Who doesn't love to feel good? So that is things that we are gonna cross a line with. And the thing it is that it's an unfound potential, all right? What I mean is that with this, for example, colleague of yours, you can be a fantastic couple. Shame you are a co-workers. Okay, so it's an unfound potential, but as these cards stands, at least at this given stage, we cannot be both for one or another reason. We just cannot be both. So that itself is gonna lead to a decision. What do we want to be, right? Or how? Yeah, what do we want to be, especially if it reflects another person as well. Danny, thank you so much for your $4.99 US. Thank you, Danny. At the end of the stream, you're going to have your personal reading for the transit Mercury in Aquarius and how this is going to affect you personally. All right, the second break now. Should any of you want to have a free reading, now is the moment to input a question into the comments down below that you want me to read for with tarot cards. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do so, and after that, Pisces Moonbeam is going to pick one of your questions, and I'm to perform a professional reading on that question. If there are no questions in 5 minutes, I'm just going to move on to the next four star signs. Yeah, tonight it's the Detroit shirt. It's a blouse. It's not a shirt. But kind of, yeah, the Detroit one. Well, listen, May. You know, if you don't have a guilty conscience about what you are to do, you should definitely do what you are gonna love, right? Crossing a line doesn't mean that it has to end up bad. For us, it's not going to. Okay, so when this moment comes when you have to choose, are you gonna satisfy no, I haven't picked a question yet, Pisces Moonbeam. The time is still running, 2.5 minutes. So you know, we do have to make it's not even a choice, it's more like yeah, it's a choice. But it will come the moment where we have to decide, are we going to satisfy our own, I don't know even how to classify it here, May, because the Knight of Cups regards to the wishes of our hearts, of our heart, right? This is it manifests in the things we just love to do, right? Are we going to satisfy that, or are we going to sacrifice it for the benefit of something or someone else? And again, if it doesn't contradicts the law, the hell with the code of conduct, right? Because at the end of the day, what matters, and that is my personal opinion, at the end of the day, what matters are the experiences that we do have and the acquisitions. Okay, this is the only thing that matters at the end of the day, at least for me. And if I can have a good experience, you bet I'm going to, right? You bet I am going to have it, no matter what. Because imagine the situation, right? That a boyfriend of your girlfriend or of your friend, she's not your girlfriend, she's your friend, but her boyfriend wants to sleep with you, right? It wants to have a relationship with you. It's not your fault that they want to have a relationship with you, right? And if they look into another woman, or if that man is looking to another woman, whether it is you or someone else doesn't make a difference at all. If they want to cheat, they are going to. Shakti, thank you so much for your $4.99 US dollars. Thank you, Shakti. At the end of the stream, you're going to have your personalized reading for the transit and how it's going to affect you. All right, Pisces Moonbeam, you can pick a question. I think that we do have 2 questions we do have. So you can pick one. Actually, it's all right, so it's one then. Which is, will I go to the will I be going to Hawaii? Again, cannot be answered specifically. When you are to ask a question, if the question can be answered just with yes or no, that cannot be answered specifically, because these type of questions, they take away a choice from you or from someone else. And none of the fortune telling tools like astrology, numerology, tarot are meant to take away decisions. Well, yours can be always looked into outside of the live stream. So, thank you, Shakti. Thank you. It's one for me then. All right, so Michelle, from his side, let's see if this was just a cheap talk or he really intends to do so, at least for now. That is how we're going to look into. But just because he intends to do it so, doesn't mean that you have to agree. And it doesn't mean that he's gonna act on these intentions. Because for now, this is what we have, intentions. And let's see, that's, or rather like a statement, that's what we have. So let's see if that statement aligns with his intentions or not. He didn't tell you when, right? He just threw it out there. Those are the cards. It's quite of a tight schedule. As an intentions, according to the cards, are true. But like I said, it's a tight schedule. And bottom line here, Michelle, it is that he may decide that something else is more important than that. Because he knows that there is going to be some kind of a shit show about that time. And whether that shit show will allow him to get you to Hawaii or not, that remains to be seen. But there is definitely going to be difficulties on his behalf, right, to get you there. And another thing is that I said that he just threw it out there is because of that emperor, which means in that elemental dignity that at this stage he has no plans how this actually is gonna happen. It's just, you know, it doesn't have for example, a place to stay in mind, a plane tickets in mind, nothing in mind, at least at that stage. So it's just a statement for now with intentions, but no steps are taken into that direction, at least at that particular point. Not a thing, even a research. And aside from that, like I said, there will be some kind of obstructions on his behalf. So I wouldn't keep my hopes high, at least for that date, March 6th. But eventually it's gonna happen, all right? If you kind of like don't hold them accountable should the plan fail, or should he not take you to Hawaii at March 6th. Don't hold him accountable, just leave it open, leave the subject open, and he's gonna get you there eventually. Women does too, Tammy. Women does too. It's a human trait, not just a guy trait, guy's trait, but it's a human trait. All right, a couple of minutes, and then the last 4 star signs. After that, the last free reading, and then the super chat. So if any of you decides to support the stream and the channel through super chat, you're gonna have your reading at the end of the stream. That's guaranteed. Well, then that's a lucky man, because usually that's one of the most important thing for women, traveling, you know, and being taken somewhere. Funny thing it is that they enjoy being taken somewhere, but when they get abducted, that's now a problem. Well, that was a crappy joke. Sorry about that. But yeah, women likes to be taken somewhere. All right, next we do have Sagittarius. You see that, Pisces Moonbeam? You read that. Oh, that's a first, Danny. LFG. LFG, what is that? Well, quoting Michelle, I am very easygoing and go with the flow type of a lady. Right? I know that that's hard for you with that Capricorn Aries rising, right? I know that that's hard for you, but please. Yeah, exactly. The Magician. With the Fool. With the Ace of Swords. Talking about new ways to see things. Oh, that's not an attack. We're not talking about going anywhere. It's about how she is as kind of reaction to things. Okay. Because remember we talked about something a few days ago, which is exactly touching that topic here, that you should be easygoing and give the situation a break. Because I imagine what will happen, you know, if you are to be promised to be taken to Hawaii and then it doesn't come true. The very least, you are gonna be furious. I would be. Okay, because I am a person who, when I say something, unless I am dying or it goes against the law, of course, I'll do it. So those, or it stops depending on me. So those are the 3 cards, again, for Aquarius. And first of all, as Mercury enters in Aquarius, for Sagittarius, I'm sorry, those are the 3 cards for Sagittarius. So as the Mercury enters into Aquarius, okay. But saying something you're not ready to do is stupid, isn't it? Like throwing statements out there, like Tommy said, in the spur of the moment. It's infuriating, isn't it? So back to Sagittarius. There will be, this will be the transit for Sagittarius, where a lot of things are to be said. Open things. A lot of information is to come our way. Doesn't have to be just for other people or for situations that concerns other people, right? It could be an information, for example, for the stock market, or it could be an information for for our career, any kind of information. It could also relate to secrets. Now, this information itself that comes about either through conversations or through the internet, all right, or through say some kind of a secrets being revealed, will allow us to, and I'm saying us because my moon is in Sagittarius, and I have a stellium there as well. But it's going to allow us to not just only believe into a goal that was, say, not possible up until this point, but also is going to allow us to put the first steps into that direction. So for Sagittarius, this transit is going to be when the impossible kind of like becomes within the grasp, within the framework of the possibilities, right? Within the framework of our civilization. That's one thing. The other thing it is that is going to be a moment for friends, is going to be a moment for lots of connections and relationships as well. And the beauty of all that, it comes from those two cards here, okay? From those two cards. So the beauty of all that it is that these relationships are going to be founded on a true sight. What I mean is that people that we are going to relate to with are going to see us for our real self, and that's how they're gonna love us, or that's what they're gonna love us for. So if it happens, for example, that someone asks you for a date, that person genuinely like you for who you are, and they will not going to want you to change anything about yourself. You smoke, that's fine with them, all right? You play video games, that's fine with them. You like traveling, that's fine with them. You like your personal space, that's fine with them. So everything you are, it's fine with them. And even more than that, they like it. Okay, they are inspired by it. That is a very strong elemental dignity in between the magician and the fool, when you know your personality and all you are is just appealing and attracting and attractive to the rest, to all around you, and very inspiring as well. And within this transit, should you want to display your demands, say in front of your boss, say in front of your spouse, family, friends as well, it's going to be a fantastic time, because whenever the way you are going to do it, Sagittarius, it's pretty much, it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to be argued with. It's just, you know, your arguments and your thesis, it will be rock solid. Even more than that, it will be indomitable. And finally, if you do want to start learning something, now is the time, right? According to the cards themselves. But your actions, your words, your presence, they are going to breed not just only confidence, but also sovereignty and a solid foundation that you are stepping on. It's a great time for you to make progress, make friends, find a lover, anything that you want to accomplish, really. Right, next we have Capricorn. Because yeah, Pisces Moonbeam, I do agree with you. You know, fool me once, it's shame on you, but fooling me twice now, that's, you know, shame on me. Sometimes things doesn't work out. They don't work out, true, when they do not depend on the person promising those things. But when that person doesn't do those things because, I don't know, they don't want to, or, you know, laziness, or just they never had the intentions to do them, now that's infuriating. Capricorn, Page of Cups. For as long as it takes, AGL. Well, you know what I visit. You know what I kind of like fixes upon when I told you to look at that statement of Michelle. Otherwise, you are easygoing. Yes, I mean in general. Bye, Tammy. All right. Page of Cups, Three of Wands, and the Strength. So, there will be for you, Capricorn, some changes that are gonna happen with your situations, primarily situations, mainly exclusively situations that you are emotionally attached to. So if you love your job, that's where it happens. Well, yeah, I mean, and I'm sorry if that's insulting, but at least again, apologize for that it's insulting, but sometimes easygoing is the last thing that I can name you for. I can name you for ambitious, working hard and all these kind of things, which are an antipode of easygoing. Because if you are easygoing, you don't work hard. If you are easygoing, you don't care, and you are the person who cares the most, right? It's just I am easygoing. You know that. I just don't care. But I know Pisces Moonbeam that if I want results, for example, in the channel that is, certain results, I just have to point you a direction and you're gonna reach them. Doesn't matter when, but you will work hard for those results. Problem is, when you do want results from me, and again, there is nothing wrong with your behavior. In fact, if there are no people like you, the people like me are going to die, right? We are going to die from starvation and cold. All right, back to Capricorn. So it will relate to the fields that you are emotionally connected with. So again, if you love your job, that's where those changes are going to take place. If you love your family, obviously, if you do have a family, you should love it, but that's where it's gonna take place. Loving a friend, loving a coworker, loving a spouse, whatever the case, those changes are ultimately for your greater good. Let's put it that way, for your well-being. It's just the changes themselves or the way that they are going to manifest. It's not gonna be pleasant for you. The feeling is gonna be like like the ground beneath your feet. It's kind of like swiped off, and at some point, even some of you may kind of like sit with their head in their hands, thinking how could have things end up that way. But that is just, how can I put it into words? It comes from those two cards here, the Page of Cups and the Strength, right? And this is the lack of control over your enthusiasm and your passion. that is aligned with your emotions. So you will have a hard time aligning that, your emotions and your enthusiasm and your passion. In other words, where your passion lies, you are going to have a hard time to like it and to love it and to understand that that's for your greater good. What the situation will require from you, Capricorn, is to reassess yourself, your behavior, right? And also your position, or how you are positioned according to one person or another, or against one thing or another as well. But suffice to say here, you are almost done with your, let's put it that way, your challenge, almost done with your challenge. And while you have taken care for all the exterior, now it's time to take care for all of the interior, meaning within you, your behavior again, your approach, etc., etc. So that is what the Mercury into Aquarius is going to bring to you. And as an expectation, you can expect to establish, if you go through the process smoothly, that is, you can expect to climb a mountain at the end of the day, and the vista beyond the mountain is going to be something you're going to freaking love it. Oh, don't bring that subject about the relentless, all right? It's just, she's the only person, by the way, guys, who makes me say yes just so I can kind of like make her drop the subject. The only person in this world. Relentless is that's an understatement. Well, it's true. It happened few times. And you know that I'm open and honest. And there is nothing wrong with that. Every time you did it, things worked out. Okay? So, yeah, it is. Ask my mother. She is gonna tell you that. Uh, Aquarius now. Hold on a second. So first one for Aquarius, Two of Cups. Followed by the Queen of Pentacles. And the final one for Aquarius, that is going to be the Five of Wands. Here. Well, I'm happy now. Because for Aquarius is reading, yeah, my mom hates me for it, right? Because when I say no, that means no, and there is no force in the world except PMB, right? That can make me say yes again. It's just there is no force in that world. And maybe one other, maybe. We will see about that. But so for Aquarius, it's I don't know how to classify it for Aquarius, but Mercury should bring us some kind of unexpected, a very good fortune at our doorsteps. What I mean is that it concerns a wall that we have faced. For example, let's say you are Aquarius and you face the wall dating. It's just kind of like you date with people, but the situation never can be brought to a point of commitment. Same thing about jobs and so on and so forth. Bottom line, it is that it will affect fields or areas into our lives where we get results, and when we reach to the thresholds of happening, right, the threshold of making or breaking, things fall apart. Well, not this time around, right? Not this time around, because for what it seems, Mercury entering into Aquarius is going to allow us to traverse that threshold, whether into our job. For example, you bust your ass in your job and the results are good, but not quite enough to get you the promotion. Well, now they are going to be, okay? Or the results are not quite enough to get you the heart of your beloved one. Well, now they are going to be. The thing is that this elemental dignity, very powerful one, by the way, here, very powerful one. That elemental dignity gives you gives us, because I'm Aquarius as well, rising that is, gives us the means in a very surprising way. Okay, in a very surprising way that does not depend on us. These are not means we have created, they just happened to, those means are going to be the shoulder we need that is going to push us through the threshold. And I'm sorry for the example, but imagine you love someone that is currently in relationship and you know that that relationship is dysfunctional. They know it, but they just don't have the guts to quit it. Or they have, or the other person have a leverage, I'm sorry, toward the one that you love. And Mercury retrograde, Mercury going into Aquarius itself kind of like reveals that their partner is cheating on them, right? So these are the means and the circumstances which are going to help you guys to traverse that threshold. Now, the other one doesn't have any reason to stay in that relationship. In fact, they have all the reasons in the world to quit it and to be with you, right? So we do have a reversal here. We do have an unexpected good fortune, a turnaround that takes place where we do have the results which are good, but not quite enough to get us to the next level, where we are about to get ourselves into the next level. And that will concern new enterprises. This is from that elemental dignity here, okay? It concerns new enterprises, while, okay, the current enterprises, the current undertakings, they are going to be sound and safe, so we don't have to sacrifice anything in return. Hello, Anna. Welcome to the stream. Sean, thank you so much for your $20 support. Thank you, Sean. At the end of the stream, you're going to have your reading for Mercury into Aquarius and how the transit is going to affect you personally. Let me put you into the list. All right, and then Pisces. There we go. All right, first one for Pisces. It's the 10 of Swords. So people freak out when they see that card. So what we do need here is a fire, right? A fire. It's a fire. We do have the 6 of Wands, right? So are we going to have another fire? We are going to have another fire. Page of Wands. Okay. So very strong here. First of all, for the next 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks, so first thing for Pisces, you will be reminded of your personal strength here. So literally, when Mercury enters into Aquarius, you are going to realize, you're going to have that aha moment that you can do it. And you don't need anyone's help. In fact, the aha moment is going to be provoked by you know, when enough is enough, okay, where the shit hits the fan and you just don't care anymore, you don't give a dime, and you just kind of like do what you think is best and the hell with the whole world. Well, that's what we do have here. But unlike most of the cases when that is to basically salvage what you can, this time around it's actually to produce, how can I put it into words, it's actually to produce a benefits, rewards. Imagine imagine the situation. You are at work and you know what you have to do, so the project can bring you money. But whether from the management or whether a coworker of yours disagrees with you, and because of it, you have a red light. Well, that red light, you wouldn't care about that red light, right? Or you're going to stop caring about that red light and you're just going to do what you think is going to produce results. And results are to be produced. Very decisive, very, how can I put it into words? It's again, well, in Bulgarian language, there are 2 words when you are decisive regarding decisions and when you are decisive regarding actions. Well, you're going to be decisive in both of those fields. So your actions are going to be determined and your decisions are going to be irrevocable, so to speak. And that whole thing is going to provoke a new era in your life. Not to mention that there are going to be so many new things which are going to be ready for you to take, and that will depend, or rather like how many of them you're going to take will depend on how open you are for anything new, because it's going to be literally anything new, whether you like it or not. So amongst that set, there are going to be aspects you are going to like, there are going to be aspects that you're going to be indifferent, or aspects that you don't like, but nonetheless they all are going to be new for you. And this state is going to bring you rewards and recognition that once taken, nobody can take it away from you, right? No one can deny or revoke or kind of like refund, so to speak, those rewards and that recognition. So you're on the verge of a new dawn in your life, and the only thing that can deprive you of it, it's a hesitation, reluctancy. So the last thing you want to be at, or you want to be throughout the next 3.5 weeks, is reluctant and indecisive. Have courage. All right, so that was for Pisces, and now the last free reading is going to take place, and after that the super chat readings. You can ask a question now if you want to have a free reading with me, and I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do so. The reading is going to happen here live on the live stream. And after 5 minutes, Pisces Moonbeam is gonna pick one of your questions if there are any, and I'm going to perform a professional reading on that question. And after that, the super chat is gonna take place. Anyone who decides to support the stream and the channel through super chat, you guys are gonna have your reading at the end. That's pretty much guaranteed. And if your super chat is $20 or above, the reading is going to be that very same elemental dignity reading that I'm doing for the star signs. Good night, Michelle. All right, only one question then. Will there be positive changes for me in my job? Sally Atkins asks. So let's check it out, Sally. Changes, not exactly. Those are your cards. Okay. 1 second. So the first one, it is the Three of Cups. Afterwards, we do have the Page of Swords. Then it is the Seven of Pentacles. And the final one, that is going to be the Two of Swords. The additional card to the Page of Swords, it is the Knight of Swords. Okay. So not exactly positive changes, but more like a it's gonna look like a change, but it is not one. How can I put it into words? So that is how it stands, right? You have to start ignoring people that you don't get along with at your job, especially their taunts. You have to stop. You have to start ignoring their taunts and their pickup. So they are picking up on you. You ignore it. You don't pay attention to those people, right? They are kind of like calling you out for a conflict. You don't enter that conflict. It may look like, you're running away, but you're not. Because at the end of the day, Sally, and that is something I will repeat every single day of the week, it is that's your job. You're there to make money, not to make any friends. Okay, you do your job and things are going to be fine. Other than that, there are definitely going to be those at your work that will align with you, that will, how can I put it into words, that will share, say, your attitude and your vision. And once you do start ignoring those people which are giving you a hard time, not because you're not doing your job well, but because, you're not going to pay attention to them, then things are going to set into peace. Then things are going to become very, very, very peaceful for you. Other than that, the cards kind of like are advising you to scale very well and very carefully how much that job can offer you. Because the job itself, it can offer you, let's say, progression to a certain extent, but not enough for you. And at some point, which point is gonna start taking place at the end of April, the start of May, you may start considering finding yourself a better job. That is only a consideration. The better job is gonna find you. You should keep up doing that, right? You should keep up ignoring those people. But after the end of April, the perception, or rather like the perspective that you should find another job is gonna start settling down, and or that you should take another job rather than to find another job, a better one. And such a job is gonna find you, Sally, and there will be no reason for you to kind of like deny it when it happens. Okay, so you should keep up ignoring those people. But because that Page of Swords and the Knight of Swords showed up, you are not ignoring them entirely. All right, but you should. Okay. All right, so moving forward, the super chat. I'm gonna do mine first. You're welcome. It's okay, Shakti. You will. So those cards are showing here that there are going to be arguments and conflicts about a money delay. That I will be a part of. So let's see your Lenormand now, Shakti. It regards to your work or your business, whether that's if you do have your own business, whether that's a wealthy client that is going to have a big part of the support of your business, or if it relates to your work, that will be a person who will support you in your work. And while you are going to know that that person or that client is supporting your business, their support is going to be more than you know. So they are doing things behind the curtains that you don't know about, and you better not know about, that they are pushing you forward. But it is about your job. It is about your business. If you don't have a job, the only thing that I come up with these cards, it is that is a person who is looking for a job, looking for a job that you should start or that you can start. There is someone that is looking for a job on your behalf, and you may not even know that at that given time. All right, next, Danny. Seven of Swords, Danny. Mercury in Aquarius is gonna bring to you the how can I put it into words? The realization who is using you and who isn't. And no, Lenormand are always spot on. It's just that concerns me. What's gonna be that freaking conflict? And if it is what I think it is, it's gonna be a minor one. So if that's what they're referring to, then it's gonna be one boring transit for me. But Danny, so once again, you are going to, or rather like people that are using you are gonna flash out. And basically what happens is that you are gonna stop wasting your resources for these people. Resources, I mean everything. Could be a resource, your time, your emotions, your money, your efforts, everything. And instead you are going to redirect those resources into primarily your own agendas, but also could be to other people that more deserve those resources. So Mercury into Aquarius is going to stop a waste, or rather like is going to stop you wasting your resources and your time. That is how, and also something that is going to bring as well is repayment. People that owe you will have a less incentive not to repay you. and that is because you are going to stand your ground and you will demand what you have been owed in a way that it will be very difficult not to be repaid into the upcoming few weeks. All right, next, Mattia. Oh, hi, Mattia. Those three cards. Well, that transit. Let me take a sip first. In that transit, it seems that you are gonna set a very ambitious, let's put it that way, goal, a very challenging goal. Like, for example, right, that could be a goal of a revenue for your business. Let's say that you will place a goal to reach, I don't know, twice the revenue from the previous year. You know, ambitious goal. The thing is that whatever goal you are to place, it's accomplishable, but it's gonna take a lot of work, right? And I mean a lot of work, and above everything else, a lot of dedication and a lot of callous as well. So the goal you play, it will reflect mostly your business. It's if it reflects your personal life, your relationships, that is more like dominance here, where you are to place a goal to dominate someone. And I spoke enough times with you to know that you are not that person, not that kind of a person. So that's why I think it's about your business and about your work here. And the goal will require you being callous, in a sense of that there will be at some point actions or choices that you will have to make which are not going to serve everyone's well-being, right? Or everyone's prosperity, so to speak. Not well-being in a sense of physical state, but let's say prosperity. Okay. And at the end of the day, that's business, isn't it? I mean, if you get richer, someone ends up being poorer. That's how business works. Capitalism, ole. But it will require a lot of your free time, right? It will require a lot of dedication, one more time, and a lot of consistency as well. So at the end of the day, you get to decide, do you want to jump into that endeavor or not? But according to the cards, you should, because that is the way going forward. That is the way moving upwards when it comes to a business. And again, I want to emphasize on that, Mattia. At the start, the goal is going to seem very ambitious. Is going to seem very wishful, in a sense of it's going to be like a wishful thinking, but it can be met. It can be met, right? It only comes to that, what is gonna take, and are you willing to give what is gonna take to meet that that goal? Other than that, your business should be prosperous, at least for the next few weeks. All right, Jasmine. Six of Wands, the Hangman, and the Page of Wands. It's a stir. It's a stir in a situation or a field in your life that you are waiting for the moment or for a moment. It's a stir most likely in a field of acquisitions. Like, for example, if you are waiting some money to come your way, or if you are waiting for some approval to come your way, or if you are waiting for some kind of a recognition to come your way, or some kind of a help to come your way, it's a stir in that direction, and that's what you are waiting for, Jasmine. You are next, Sean, and the thing you are waiting for is gonna open up to come your way as Mercury enters into Aquarius, and alongside is gonna bring additional aspects. For example, you know, the money are gonna bring a new incentive. Okay, the help is gonna be bigger than you have expected. The recognition is gonna open up more opportunities than you thought, and so on and so forth. So it's a transit for you, Jasmine, where you are to reap the fruits of your labor. And I don't think that you realized when you planted those fruits how big those fruits are to be. And they may fill up your basket so much that you may kind of struggle carrying it on moving forward, in a sense of that you may get intoxicated by the results that are gonna come your way. But alas, Jasmine, there will be a solid milestones that you are to reach in the next 3.5 weeks. And those milestones are going to be more and bigger than your anticipation. It is just your expectations are going to be highly exceeded in the next 3.5 weeks. And that is going to carry on one more thing here. It's going to boost your self-confidence. So from there on moving forward, you will have a stronger, bigger, and more tense belief in yourself. More thick, rather, believe in yourself, that you can handle whatever the life has in store or is about to throw your way. And next, Sean. For you, Sean, is a bit the opposite. We do have those 3 cards. So it's a pretty simple read, and basically what those cards are representing it is that probably you are going to consult yourself with someone or a group of people who are very experienced in the field that you are looking for a consultation. For example, your business, you consult your business with a, I don't know, financial advisor, lawyer, solicitor, whatever the case. It is just a professional consultation here, and through it, you're going to come to realization that now is not the time, right? It's just you don't have the situation quite right in order to make your move. Or in other words, even though, for example, your actions could bring you harmonious relationships or successful business maneuvers, they are not going to be as successful as they can be if you wait for the circumstances to arrange or to align just right, and that is by a humongous margin. So Mercury in Aquarius will call for patience from your behalf. The question is, can you give it? Now, the result of that patience and letting those professionals to do their job before you initiate, before you do your act or your how can I exert your action, will resolve a lot of concerns and problems that you do have at hand right now, whether into your career or whether into your relationship and love life as well. It is just that's one of these periods for you, Sean, where you just should do nothing and listen to those who knows better than you. I hate those moments, or those periods, but sometimes they happen. Okay. So that's that. And it's an important information, Sean, because otherwise, imagine what happens when you act now, right? And you blow your chance. It's not exactly blowing your chance. You're still going to have acquisitions, but not nearly as big as you could have, as you would have, moving forward into the future. So whatever professionals you are consulting right now, or you are about to consult yourself with in the next 3.5 to 4 weeks, listen to them, mate. I mean, they know better. It's what those cards are showing. And even they don't have to be professionals. They could be a loyal companions, like your business partner or your colleagues, whatever the case. It's their guidance and their advice will have merit. It's going to have reason in it. All right, so that was the super chats. That was for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for attending. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for your generosity. And we're gonna see each other Monday, where the topic is going to be Sun in Pisces, which is happening on 18th of February 2023. So with that said, see you in a few days, and until then, bye.